What is up, everybody? It is Og here, back with another video, and in today's video, we're going to be jumping into AoE farms. Why are we jumping into those? Well, TBC is finally here, guys. This is about a day and a half ago. We dinged level 70. Congratulations to everybody in the World First Level 70 Challenge who flew through it. Huge shout out to all the mages who were able to pull off some crazy slave pen strats. Tierra, Jokered, Taiwan, absolutely incredible some of the things that they were pulling off, and all the other mages as well. Also, a shout out to Fixed, who got server first on Pagel. It was a really fun end of the challenge trying to race him, and he ended up beating me by about 20 minutes, so congratulations to him as well. But once we dinged 70, I didn't have much gold, and actually wasn't able to get my epic flying mount. In fact, I had to get a loan to get my epic flying mount, and so I set out on a path to try to figure out the best possible gold farms, after, of course, sleeping for about 14 hours. And because of these gold farms, in probably about 7 hours played, maybe a little bit less, we were able to go from that 1,000 gold all the way up to 6,300 gold. So we were able to make a ton of gold incredibly fast. And I want to show you guys the top gold farms that I would recommend for Mage AOE farming. These can also be done by non-mages as well to farm a ton of gold right now, just because of the markets, but these are time sensitive, so I wanted to get them out to you as quickly as possible. Let's jump into it. Some of these are going to be better than others, but I want to do it in a countdown style. So we're going to start off with number 5. I call this the Sunfury Farm. This is going to be taking place in Netherstorm, southeastern Netherstorm. I'll show you on the map in just a second. But actually, guys, while I was recording this video, we actually farmed 1,000 gold. It took about 20 to 30 minutes of actual footage, and in that time we actually got 1,000 gold. So these farms are incredibly lucrative, but I would highly recommend jumping on them now because some of the items that we're going to be farming for them are going to decrease in price very quickly, as you're going to see in a little bit. But this farm is up in southeast Netherstorm. Now the idea here is that a lot of people are going to want Aldor and Scryer's rep. This farm is particular to Scryer's. You can see where it is on the map here. But the idea here is to get Arcane Tomes and Sunfury Signets. Those can be turned in for Scryer rep. And so once people want to kind of rush that Scryer rep to try to get some of those enchants and things like that, they're going to want to farm up those items or buy them. So these items in particular should maintain a decent amount of value. So Arcane Tome right there, Arcane Signet right there. Arcane Tomes right now are going for about 40 to 50 gold on my server. Sunfury Signets, about 8 gold or so. And so you can see in the bottom right, kind of the loot that we're getting. You're also getting a decent amount of raw vendor gold and netherweave cloth. Basically the way that it works is there's a bunch of these non-Archmage mobs you can round up and then kill them at one given time. Watch out for the Archmages though, because obviously if you get the Archmages, you're going to have some issues. Also, if you're an engineer, if you ever see this flying any color thing, purple in this case, and you have the extractor, which I would highly recommend going to Zangarmarsh, doing the quest, get the extractor. You need 305 engineering. Extract those motes. Those 5 motes right there alone are worth 100 gold. So just extracting that one mote right there is 100 gold. And honestly, flying around with your epic mount and farming those motes, probably an amazing way to make money right now. I tried to do it with Netherstorm. I wasn't finding many motes, so it's kind of funny that we just found one right there, but a great option for you. Because as you can see right here, you basically round up all the researchers, stay away from the Archmages, or burn them down using your pet if you need to. I'll have my spec at the end of this video for all these farms. It's always going to be the same for these farms, just so we can have a blend of single target and AoE farming. But then you just AoE down these mobs. You're not going to make a ton of gold right here probably, but you do also kill a decent amount of mobs, and they're higher level mobs, which opens you up to the higher level loot tables. And so hopefully you could even get some epics like I did on the beta. Really wish I got that on live though, and not the beta. Coming in at number 4, we have the Ashtongue Camp. Now this is out in Shadowmoon Valley, and I initially found this when I was trying to find an AoE farm that I could level up with. An AoE farm that I could grind mobs and AoE level up fast in case slave pens did not work. And so this is going to be one of my main contingency plans. And if I had plenty of time where, you know, whether I was going for server first or world first, I had plenty of time ahead of the competition, probably not for world first, but maybe for server first, then I would have been able to go over here and just farm up gold while leveling up. Reason being, you can get about 270 to 300,000 experience per hour just AoE farming this. You could start at level 66 or 67 if you wanted to. The mobs are going to be anywhere between 68 and 69. There's a couple 70 mobs, but for the majority of them, they're 68 to 69, which means that they will resist you occasionally, but if you're maintaining your blizzards and you have 5 PC2 especially, you should be able to keep them slowed within your blizzard. Now, the drops specifically from these mobs, there's not like Arcane Tome, Sunfury Signets, Primals, or anything like that specifically drops, but it is a ton of mobs that you're killing at once. So compared to other farms, there are many, many more mobs here that we'll be killing at a single time. Most of our pools are going to be between 15 and 20 mobs that we're killing at once, burning down the mobs very fast, They're all, as I said before, melee, so you don't have to worry about, casters or anything like that, and even run away at low health, so you can just finish them off with, the little bit of mana that you have. But you're getting a ton of raw silver, and you also have a good chance of getting greens, blues, and epics. Because they are the, some of the higher level mobs, almost level 70, you're going to have some of the best loot tables you could possibly have, and get a ton of greens. I typically, with each loop that I'm doing, get between 1 and 2 greens. I've also gotten some other drops here as well. But you can see here on a pool like this with, probably 20 mobs that we're killing, make sure, by the way, in order to stop evades, that you always use rank 1 Arcane Explosion while you're grouping them up. Basically, if you don't hit a mob for 8 seconds and it's outside of its kind of like home base range, it may reset. So just try to keep them aggroed back up. But with a big pool like that, you open yourself up to a ton of potential for some really, really good loot. So I like this farm mainly for just the amount of mobs that you can burn down. It's a great leveling strategy as well if you want to do that, but it's going to be a really good gold farming opportunity for those of you who want to kind of take the risk and hope that they get a good drop and just farm a bunch of mobs. Coming in at number 3, we have the Black Temple Farm. Now this is a pretty common farm for a lot of people. A lot of people know about this farm, but basically around the Black Temple, up on the sides, either on the left or the right side, you have a lot of mobs that are melee, which you can burn down and you can kill them very quickly, just like any other kind of farm. And so this is a really popular AoE farm. Again, here we're going to be going for, Sunfury Signets, Arcane Tomes, stuff like that. And so those are nice to get. Now I would stick probably to the right side of Black Temple. This is the left side of Black Temple when you're coming in from the bottom of the Black Temple. But there's some mobs over here you could kill too if you find that you're running out of mobs on the right side, and so you can see those mobs right in the front. But this side is going to have a lot more casters, so you're going to run into some more issues. On the other side, though, you will have healers, and so you want to make sure you're burning down the mobs as quickly as possible because they will be healing each other, and so you could run into mana issues, so just be cognizant of that. But this is a really good farm because not only are you getting netherweave cloth and not only are you getting raw gold, but you're also having a really good chance at getting some greens, and we got a lot of greens during this farm alone. You can see from that pack alone, that was 2 greens right there. Greens are going to sell pretty decently probably for enchanting mats and then just affixes of some of these greens. But here you can see the other side, so we round up these mobs and burn them down. They do heal themselves though and try to keep themselves up for a while, but you can burn them down. On the top, there's also a plateau level where there's more mobs you can kill, and then there's these groups of mobs that look like they're training. So the training mobs are a little bit more difficult. Now, they will aggro onto you eventually, but there's also a period of time where they won't aggro onto you at all, and so it could be kind of annoying because you might have issues stacking them up. If you guys want to go for killing them, it's going to be an easy way to make kill a lot of mobs at once and make some good gold, but they are kind of a pain to deal with. So the next 2 farms are centered around certain types of items. These items will be valuable throughout the entire expansion, but right now they are incredibly valuable, and this is more of the time-sensitive kind of information. These are the primals. So you have earth, air, shadow, water, life, fire, mana. Mana is the most expensive. You can see right here right now, the lowest one is 187 gold, 89 silver. Now, before today, I was the only person on my server selling Primal Manas, outside of one other person who posted one for 900 gold. So I was able to sell them like hotcakes at 200 gold a pop, and I ended up selling about, I think, 18 or so Primal Manas. So we're going to focus on kind of the Primal Mana farming spots, but we're also going to jump into Primal Fire and Primal Air, which are the other 2 probably most used ones. Primal Water would be the next one, but Primal Air was also going for a lot at the beginning. These also were going for about 200 gold. Primal Fires were about 100 to 150 gold, but obviously you can see that they're decreasing in price. Now this will stop decreasing at some point because they are used pretty extensively in the expansion, and so they will be valuable and these farms will still be good, but you won't be seeing the 1,000 to potentially even 2,000 gold per hour kind of farm levels that you're seeing right now, but you will be seeing, a decent gold farm with these AoE farm spots that we're about to show you. Now that we have introduced primals, we can start talking about the Elemental Plateau, which is our number 2 AoE farming spot. Now this spot is very popular. I'm not even going to bring in the one over in Hellfire Peninsula, but this spot is very popular. You do need a flying mount to get to it though, so it is gated by level 70, which could help you if you were quick on your server to get up to level 70, get over to the spot. If you are having trouble or there's a lot of people farming this location, try to change layers and you may find an easier time kind of, finding mobs that you can burn down. But as you can see here, you can round up a bunch of these fire Ellies at one time, similar to the air Ellies. The air Ellies, however, do cast a lightning bolt, which will melt through your shields to make sure that you leverage Icy Vein so you can't be interrupted if you want to AoE farm them. Otherwise, you might have to single target them. But as you can see, you're going to be getting motes of fire and motes of air. From these 2 packs that we pulled right here alone, I was actually able to get an entire Primal Fire, which on my server right now is about 40 gold. And, previously, as of yesterday, was about 150 gold. So you could see just kind of the amount of gold that you could potentially make with this farm. As I said, primals are going to decrease in cost over the next little bit, but throughout the expansion, they're going to be expensive. And so a farm like this is still going to be pretty good. Here you can see I'm getting my health chunked down, but I keep up Icy Veins and use Cold Snap and Icy Veins to try to make it so I can't get interrupted, so I can take out these mobs. Coming in at number 1, we have the Primal Mana farms in Netherstorm. Now, I consider this to be the best farm in the game right now on nearly all servers. And we were talking in my stream today at twitch.tv/Orleas about Primal Manas, and most people were checking their auction houses and finding none. Reason being is that pretty much the main place to get these is Netherstorm off of, the elemental kind of mobs in Netherstorm. Not many people are actually going to Netherstorm right off the bat because they're dungeon farming and things like that if they are leveling up quickly and trying to get the rep, or they're doing quests and they haven't gotten Netherstorm yet. And so I was actually the first person on my server to get to Netherstorm, and so we were able to farm up a ton of Motes of Mana and Primal Manas as such, and also farm some of the rare spawns as well. But you can see here that we're getting a lot of Motes of Mana, and now I actually didn't find this AoE spot until today. And so I had farmed for about 2 hours and got 10 Primal Manas yesterday at a single target spot, which is why I have Frostbite in my spec. But it's nice to have single target just to be able to single target mobs down as well. One thing to watch out for is that sometimes the loot window does not show, and you can see here that you kind of have to move over to actually be able to loot those mobs and get them through that. But basically this spot right here, guys, is right next to Area 52, and you farm about 5 different packs. Now they're immune to Arcane, but what you want to do is you just basically want to Nova them, group them up, and then Blizzard them down. If you keep up Dampen Magic and Mage Shield, you shouldn't take too much damage at all, and you should be able to burn them down pretty quickly. There are rock elementals around there which do spawn, sundered elementals once they die, and so you got to burn those down, but they're not too bad to deal with. You can get, on average, 6 to 7 Primal Manas per hour. Right now on my server, as we saw, they're about 200 gold per hour, which means that this is about a 1,400 gold per hour gold farm at the moment. This will decrease as more people get out to Netherstorm and start farming these, or engineers get out and start running the moat farms and things like that. So you definitely want to jump on this as quickly as possible, but this spot is incredible. As I said before, I was single targeting before, so I wasn't making as much as I could have. If I had spent the entire time here, probably would have gotten about 25 primals and made about 5,000 gold just from this spot alone. These are the pools that I recommend though. The 5 pools, you basically try to aggro up as many as you can. Use Arcane Explosion. I believe, even though it does say immune, it still does keep them in combat from what I'm seeing. Could be wrong with that, but that's what I'm seeing so far. Round them up and AoE them down. They do drain your mana, so just kind of try to stay max range if possible when you're starting your farm. Eventually they will catch up to you, because you're just going to run out of real estate. There's not a lot of room to walk around. But if you can stay away from them at the beginning, then you're going to help, maintain your mana a little bit. Now, for some reason you're not a mage, or the other spot is really populated and you need a good single target spot, or your fire or something like that, this spot is fantastic. This spot is over in Southeast during Netherstorm. It's a great spot just to burn down these mobs. There are some issues with it which lead to you not being able to AoE farm. That is that the big blobs do a mana burn, which also damages you, and then the smaller mobs can actually blink away from you, and so they're kind of just a pain to deal with, and you're going to see a illustration of me trying to AoE farm them in just a second. But this is where I got my initial 10 primals. Now it took about 2 hours, maybe a little bit more than 2 hours to get those initial 10 primals. But again, if they're selling for 200 gold on your server, that's incredible. So here's the AoE farm. I Nova them, and pretty much immediately I'm down about 20% HP, summon up a pet, the Mage Slayers blink out of it. Eventually I go just because they drained all my mana and I can't take out all the mobs. Was able to take out some, so maybe you could take out 5 at a time or something like that, but it's not going to be as good. Hopefully this helps you guys. Those are the top 5 farms that I have right now. Doesn't mean that there's not more, and so if you guys have any others, definitely let me know down in the comments down below. Some of these are more popular than others, such as the Elemental Plateau, and so you might run into some competition right there, but hopefully these will give you some not heavily farmed locations that you guys can go out and AoE farm to yourselves to hopefully make a good amount of gold and get that epic flying mount or whatever else you guys need the gold for in TBC.